Let's talk about Hollywood and China, because China is making a lot of money these days. They pretty much own everything. They probably own this chair and everything I'm wearing and everything you're sitting on right now. And now they've sort of infiltrated Hollywood, and everyone's talking about how the big Hollywood blockbusters especially are all being funded by China, and they are putting regulations on the movies in terms of content because they don't want to offend the Chinese audience, because they want to get into that market. China only allows 34 foreign films to be shown annually, so if you want a piece of that money, like Transformers 4, which is partly being shot in China, you're going to do things that the Chinese government wants you to do, basically. I mean, this is sort of like the Exxon story we did earlier. This seems to me just about money, but how dangerous is it that something as lofty as our film business here could be infiltrated by the Chinese? Fred?
Well, it's a communist country, and they have a lot of control how many kids you could have, and 1/5 of the world population with the fastest growing economy. So Hollywood, as we do in this country, is kowtowing to their demands and the limited number of films that are exposed there. But I said, like 10 new screens are opening a day in China. So it's a huge burgeoning market for us. And where there's money, there's Hollywood. And I think it's good because we're so limited in the number of films we can make right now based on funding, that if they will support some of these films, either financially backing them and also in going to the movies, I think it's great.
Yeah, is there an artistic issue here though? Because, there's already been examples of, things that have been co-produced by Chinese companies where they take out content that maybe the bad guy is Chinese and instead they make him Taiwanese or something like that. You know what I mean? And do we have an artistic problem when we're making films that are going to be backed by another country?
The one sacred thing about Hollywood blockbusters in the summer is their artistic integrity.
Oh, yes.
I think that, if Transformers 8 didn't have a Chinese villain robot, I mean, people would just completely lose it, and we would lose that in-depth, highly honed social commentary that we find within Michael Bay explosion films where we're fighting robots.
I could do a 3-hour show on Transformers. So, yeah.
Remember the scrotum joke in the second one, where John Turturro is like, I've been in countless Coen brother movies. We're underneath the enemy scrotum is a literal line.
Was the big Constructicon that he was. Don't get me started. There is something weird about this to me because even the G.I. Joe movie, that the sequel just came out a couple months ago. G.I. Joe when we were growing up was, and when you were younger, was the real American hero. That's what he was called. G.I. Joe in the movie is not a real American hero. It's like an international group of fighters to save the world. You guys don't see any odd inherent problem with that we're losing some sort of American pride thing because we're trying to...
It's one world now. I love it. China is helping our economy immensely, particularly in luxury retail. That's who's buying all this stuff right now. They have their own Facebook, Ren, and I guess Weibo is their Twitter, and we need to adapt to that. The president's going to be meeting with the Chinese premier in Rancho Mirage this week, and I think that's exciting that we are working together, and we need to take the two biggest economies and mesh them, and Hollywood is certainly no exception, as long as they don't censor them too much, because I think we'll lose a lot. But it's important that we work together with China and get along, and hopefully they'll have a little uprising there and have a democracy in that country someday.
Right, but how do we stop them from censoring? Because they own us, first off, and then they're going to back our films. How are we going to stop them? Guys.
It's just, it finds an equilibrium is what's going to happen. And the best part for China is they don't have to change at all. There's definitely cities in China are far more Western than people would think they are. So yes, there's always pressure coming from the citified versions of China to the government saying, let in more westernized stuff. But I mean, the people who will bend over backwards more than anyone are the Hollywood studios, because all they want is the bottom line. So they're actually in cahoots with the China. My concern is that how do we find out who to hate? Other than we have to, you can watch the news and that just takes so much time, or read and that's boring.
Yeah.
So we need to find out through movies who we hate, and if China isn't a villain because of this, how do we know we're supposed to hate them?
You know, I agree with your crazy point there, because I was thinking even this week with this whole Syria thing, it's very clear that Russia is on the other side. You know, they're backing Assad, we're backing the rebels, and there is this thing happening. And I tweeted this, but we need like a Rocky IV. You know what I mean? In Rocky IV, you knew Rocky was American, Drago was Russian, and what side. But I feel like we don't have anything to sort of take our geopolitics and bring it into mainstream think anymore.
May be grateful. I spent my youth in air raid shelters when the Soviet Union was going to blow us off the world. So it's good that the world's getting along. We don't need.
You spent your whole youth in air raid shelters?
A lot of times.
Where were you?
I like canned tuna, so we had a lot of that. No, the world is functioning right now, and it is one world, and it's exciting to see. And so we got enough enemies out there. We still got Iran, we got North Korea, and that's plenty.